Welcome along to the Army Analysis series, and today we are looking at the Syracusan 280 BC list with Carthaginian 235 BC allies. Quite a few players are using this list in the league, and most of them are taking the Carthaginians as allies. I had a quick look, and probably I would take the Carthaginians as well, because you get access to elephants, which are always useful to have, especially against swordsman heavy armies like the Romans. You get some extra cav, you get noble cav, which is great value for money at 44, and you get also some war bands as well. So basically it's better, I would say, to take the Carthaginians. It's quite a well-balanced army, and I also now, this is about 13 or 14 videos I've done now in classical, and it kind of all comes together. Once you start comparing armies, once you've built up your little database, you can compare the Romans to the Carthaginians to the Pyrrhic and Syracusan armies, and it all sort of, yes, this is where the advantages and disadvantages are. And I can see that straight away the advantage with this army is numbers. We've got 24 infantry units here. Now, okay, we don't have top tier legionnaires, we don't have pikes, we don't have veteran African spear, but you've got what I would call a lot of mid-tier, upper mid-tier units, which comprise the majority of your army. A lot of hoplites, a couple of veteran hoplites, and the war bands. And so, if you've been following my videos, I mentioned I think it was yesterday when I was looking at the Spanish, a lot of these so-called pike armies, they don't have that many pike units, actually, when you count it all up. As an example, it was Ptolemaic. They've only got 7 pike units out of 17 infantry units. The Macedonians, even, they've only got 8 pike units out of 18. And this was, a theme throughout. So even with the pike armies, it's about a third or so of pikes. And then they've got a lot of medium infantry. Romans might have some raw legionnaires. You've got irregular foot, and just the kind of the weaker end kind of infantry there, and they tend to have quite a lot of it, Thracians and so on. But here we've just got a lot of hoplites. Now, in my opinion, maybe when I do a top 10. I've been doing it mainly for the High Middle Ages, but I'll do another one for classical. I think I've done 2 for classical so far. And the citizen hoplites, they are one of the most underrated units in the game. They really are, because they're only 42, and yet they're heavy foot and spear. So they do an absolutely tremendous job against most units in the game, especially when considering their price. As just one example, when you're fighting the Romans, yes, they're fearsome because of their impact foot, but that the Hastati, as I recall, they're about 51. I think they're about 51, but after impact, I think they're at a little bit of a disadvantage against these citizen hoplites, because they're only swordsmen, and they get a little bit of a bump up because of their quality, but still doesn't match that 100 extra POA for spearmen. So that's 42 for citizen hoplites against something like Hastati at 51, and they've got an advantage in melee. So they are really, really good. They're really good. And we've got the Spanish impact foot. They're excellent as well at 42. They've got impact, so often the case that you're going to disrupt units. I always usually say it's about a 1 in 3, 1 in 4 chance of disrupting a unit. So it's for the price, it's they're decent. We've got some African spear that are just essentially like hoplites. The Merc hoplites, as I've mentioned before in other videos, same stats as the Citizen hoplites, same unit essentially. You're just paying 6 more for maneuverability. They can turn, especially on the flanks. They're most useful because you've just got an extra chance, especially if you've got a general nearby. You've got an extra chance of flanking, whereas with unmaneuverable units, it's better to put them in the center, really. Cavalry is not bad. We've got 5. As I said yesterday, a lot of armies, they don't have more than 4 or 5 cavs, so you're going to be able to hold your own most of the time. You've got a couple of veteran armored cav units, then we've got some noble cav, which is great value at 44. They're superior quality, and then we've got some armored cav, and we've also got an elephant as well. And maybe you want to take more cav, you could take the elephant out and add another armored noble cav. So a little bit of flexibility there, and all these warband units. So 24 infantry units, quite a lot of impact, quite a lot of hoplites. This is quite a nice mix. If you remember, and if you've been following my videos, a lot of armies, especially pike armies, they've got about 17 infantry, 18 infantry. That seems to be about the average and the norm. We've got 24 here, plus an elephant. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's kind of like a swarming army. If you can hold your center and get your men around on the flanks, use your elephant well, you've got at least, what have we got? I haven't counted up all the impacts. We've got about 8. I think it's about 8 units of impact foot. So mixing with your hoplites, that's great. And these veteran hoplites as well will help out because they're superior quality. They get that plus 50 for quality. So it's a really nice army. A really nice army. Switching things around, probably not so much, because the way things are, you want to keep most of your infantry. But let's just say that we let's take out a few infantry units. Let's take out say Italian foot, Phoenician foot, which isn't so good, and maybe an archer unit. That's 100 points. We can add more cav. We've got the armored cav. Can add some armored cav, and we could add some veteran armored cav. As I've mentioned before, these are the same units: armored noble cav, veteran armored cav, just different names, exactly the same. Superior armored light spear. So that takes us to 7 cav units, and we've still got 22 infantry units. So if you wanted some more cavalry, you can do it. Or you could even add an elephant. If you didn't want to take the extra veteran armored cav, you could take 2 elephants. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So let's actually, that's that. Let's take out those 2 cav units. Say we took out another infantry unit, another Italian foot, and we wanted more skirmishers, because at the moment we've got we've got 5 at the moment. With the original build had 6, and the javelin horse. So maybe you wanted to add some more skirmishers. We could add some more and maybe take out javelin horse. So, and we've got the slightly better peltasts. They're pretty good light foot. So that takes us to 9 skirmishers and 2 javelin horse. So that's pretty good. If you want more skirmishers, you can do it. You can take it. It's got a bit of flexibility. When I had a look at the records, this army at the moment is on a 47% win rate. It's about average. A lot of armies are around 50, just under 50. So nothing amazing, but average. What would I give this a rating? About a B+, maybe a B+, and it potential to be better. Let's see how it does. There's quite a few players. I think there's a player in Division A and a player in Division B that've taken this army, and I think there's maybe in Division D or E there's another player that's taken this army. So let's see how they do. It's got a lot going for it. Okay, doesn't have a lot of the really good infantry units, but you know, fair selection of impact foot. Hoplites can do really well. Elephant, fair number of cav. You can take extra skirmishers. It's got a lot. It really has a lot going for it. So I do quite like this army. You've just got to hope that your infantry can hold against better quality infantry, and you can get your flanks and make use of your extra numbers. That's the key with this army. We don't have any lancers, but you know, if you can take, if the enemy has better cav than you, then maybe, yeah, you could just take an extra elephant out, perhaps, to counter the cav. I mean, that's nice. And let's, you know, hope that your warband can do well. Maybe you can put some generals in there. Sometimes it's nice to put generals in warbands. So yeah, about a B+ from me. If you're using this army, put your comments below. Let us know in how you're doing and any secrets. And if you're playing against this army, also let us know how you're doing. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you again soon.